What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I got a story for you that's recently broke in the past couple of days. And it's concerning this guy right here. This guy right here, his name is David Malin. May he rest in peace. He's a U.S. Border Patrol agent near in the state of Vermont. Shout out Vermont. This guy, on January 20th, 2025, following a traffic stop, this guy was involved in a shootout in which he was killed by a woman named Teresa Youngblood, who was wounded, and another person died at the scene that was affiliated with her, who was a German national named Ophelia Buchholz. Both of them died in the shootout. Now, they're saying now that the people that killed him are part of a cult that's been running around the United States doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And the FBI's investigating it and so on and so forth. But man, some of this stuff is like very hard to believe, you know, looking back at it. Listen to this. They're calling this cult the Zizan cult. But check this part out. It says they're a murderous trans cult. So these are made up of transgender people that are labeled, and hear me on this, radical vegans, whatever that means. Take a look at the story. This, man, listen to some of the stuff you hear. People are crazy. And what's even crazier, these lunatics can have people follow them under the same belief pattern and do some of the craziest stuff. Look.
Finding out more details in the killing of U.S. Border Patrol agent David Malin, who was a Minnesota native. The Associated Press is reporting that the suspects in Malin's death are connected to a cult-like group that is linked to several murders across the country. Fox 9's Leon Purvis looks at this timeline of this investigation.
This is a complicated story, and we'll try to walk you through it. The people accused of killing David Malin are both found to have connections to a cult-like group known online as Zizans. This group includes a lot of young, highly intelligent computer scientists who've become increasingly more violent. U.S. Border Patrol agent David Malin was killed in a shootout after pulling over Teresa Youngblood and Felix Buchholz last month. Buchholz also died in the gunfire. The Associated Press now reporting Youngblood and Buchholz are connected to a cult-like group. The goal of the group is not yet clear, but it all started in 2016 with an online blog by a transgender woman named Jack Lasota. It covered topics ranging from radical veganism and gender identity to artificial intelligence. The group is now tied to 6 deaths in 3 states: Vermont, Pennsylvania, and California. The suspects in Border Patrol agent David Malin's death were recently living in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and the alleged ringleader of the group also lived in the area. That's where the landlord and neighbors now say they saw odd behavior. They had 2 box trucks parked outside with electrical cord running from one of them into their place. On January 14th, Youngblood and Buchholz checked into a hotel in Vermont. Investigators put the pair under surveillance after a hotel worker reported concerns about what they were wearing, and Youngblood had a gun. Days later, Youngblood and Buchholz were pulled over on Interstate 91 in Vermont. That's when the shootout and David Malin's death happened. Most recently, the FBI searched the North Carolina property. According to the Associated Press, investigators have offered up very little about the murder cases across the country. Border Patrol agent David Malin will be buried at Fort Snelling with full military honors on Saturday, February 22nd. In the newsroom, Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
I'm ready to go again.
I'm the pure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Local news that matters on ABC 22 News.
In tonight's big story, the history of the group known as the Zizians that some have described as a possible cult, and just how Vermont becomes part of this intricate web. We told you last night 2 people involved in the shooting death of a Border Patrol agent, David Malin, could have ties to the group. But the questions, how did the group start and how did they get here? ABC 22's Matt Holderman spoke with investigative reporters around the country to try and answer some of those questions for us. He is now live in the newsroom.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, the full known history of the Zizians starts in 2019 in California with its alleged leader, Jack Ziz Lasota. Ziz and some of his alleged followers staged a protest standing up for their beliefs, and the story gets progressively more violent from there.
I just happened to be the reporter here at the Chronicle that covered this bizarre protest.
Matthias Gaffney is an investigative reporter with the San Francisco Chronicle who unknowingly stumbled upon what would become one of the most bizarre investigations of his career back in 2019. Jack Ziz Lasota, a transgender tech whiz and devout vegan who had recently moved to the Bay Area, organized a group of people similar to him to protest a rationalist reunion.
And they showed up there in all black robes, in Guy Fawkes masks, with a school bus and a flatbed truck. They blocked the entrance and exit to this place and started handing out flyers. Now we know, these years later, that that was really a launching point.
Fast forwarding to 2022, according to reports, Lasota and his associates bought a World War II tugboat in Alaska and sailed it down to San Francisco Bay with plans to live on it. But eventually, the boat sank and the group abandoned it.
His supporters and friends and family in California in the Bay Area had alleged that he died in a boating accident, and even his counsel told the court that.
And the attorney told the judge that his client, Jack Lasota, was dead.
The people who were on the boat with Lasota then turned to a landlord they met in the marina, Curtis Lind. According to court documents, after renting from Lind in Vallejo for a while, the group attacked him with knives and a samurai sword in November, with Lind fighting back, shooting and killing one of them, Emma Borhanian. About a month and a half later, a set of murders happened in Pennsylvania that seem unconnected on the surface until police arrested someone on an obstruction charge, Jack Ziz Lasota.
According to the police record, he acted very bizarre. He pretended to be dead. The staff had to hold him up for the photo.
Lasota's bail was eventually lowered to $10,000 in 2023, which he paid and got out. Lasota hasn't been seen since, but Zizian activity may still be ongoing. This year, Curtis Lind was set to testify as the lone witness in his own attempted murder case. And with a fading memory, his attorney filed paperwork to move his testimony up to happen as soon as possible. But on January 17th, Lind was found dead.
Literally the next day, prosecutors alleged that Maximilian Snyder walked up to him in a cul-de-sac just outside of his property in Vallejo and stabbed him to death.
He was the sole witness to one of their attacks, and that witness has now been murdered.
Then just 3 days later was the deadly shootout in Vermont between U.S. Border Patrol agents and the team of Teresa Youngblood and Felix Bachholt, who allegedly preferred the names Milo and Ophelia. Youngblood had filed for a marriage license with Snyder, the man accused of killing Lind in Vallejo. It was at this point some of the possible connections became clear, especially with court documents suggesting Youngblood could be linked to other violent cases across the nation.
What's scary about it is that there are people who are at large. It almost sounds like it's been written by AI. It's so unbelievable that if the allegations are true, there was an extremist cult killing people for several years, and federal authorities completely missed the seriousness of this.
Now, Maximilian Snyder and Teresa Youngblood both have more court dates coming up. Snyder will have his first hearing next week, and Youngblood will be back in federal court in May to answer to charges connected to her role in the shooting death of Agent Mayland. For now, live in the newsroom, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.
And Matt, the woman facing weapons charges tied to the shooting near the border is no longer in Vermont. Teresa Youngblood has been moved to a facility in New Hampshire. Merrimack County Corrections Superintendent Travis Cushman told us she is in their custody. He says she is in a facility in Boscawen. Vermont notably does not have a federal prison.
Unbelievable. Now we got killer trans cults running around that are radical vegans and computer nerds all wrapped up in one. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not even trying to understand the stuff now. They talking about the FBI's investigating. They trying to find these people. They scattered all over the place. And this is the thing. I want you guys to notice something with some of these things when they say like this is cult type stuff. These people talk of grandiose of a better life and raging against the machine. But when you see them living together, they live almost primitive like. They said they was in a U-Haul where they was running the GPU off the U-Haul, powering the house with it never fails that these people are so smart and manipulative to get other people to buy into the mind games they play, but they can't do basic functions to build themselves up as a respectable organization or movement. You ever notice that? Bunch of motherfuckers walking in a circle without no damn plan. You shot a border patrol agent doing a traffic stop, and now it exposed you for all of the goofy stuff y'all are doing. I don't understand it. It's a lot of cults out here. You know what I'm saying? And some you hear about, some you don't. This is one I guess they heard about late. This remind me of some Charles Manson type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what their belief system is. Who they deem the enemy, and why they do what they do. But I mean, things are what they are, man. It's just craziness out here. You're hearing stuff pop up that makes your head like explode. It's just mind blowing. Either way, man. They caught some of them. The one dude, the leader, act like he was dead. They had to hold his head up. They brought a tugboat and it sunk. Looking at that boat, why would that be a good investment? All these heads that are put together to do one thing, nobody is the voice of reason. I ain't buying that boat. Listen, it's certain things in any type of organized situation that had you scratching your head. And really, it's up to you, your responsibility to ask questions. But I mean, a lot of times you see these people in these cults and stuff, they're people that come from rough, troubled childhoods. They want acceptance, and they'll join anything where they think like minds think alike. Misery always loves company. This is another example of that. Strange. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've always been one of them people where I question what I follow. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's a contrast of what I've seen in my life on my journey on this planet. How about you? See you in the next video. Take care.